Hey everybody, welcome to another R show. And as you can see, tonight we have a special guest in Duane's home. His
Hello.
wife is going to be our guest for tonight, telling you how she feels and maybe give you some tips on how to help get your significant other to believe in your business and not put you down all the time. So, Duane or Heather, you want to introduce yourselves? Duane, you don't have to introduce yourself, but maybe you want to do the introduction.
Well, this is my better half. She's been taking care of me for the last week, especially since I've been ill. And we jokingly said that she would take over for me if I was out of town. And so Chris said, well, let's have her on. So this is her, Heather.
Hello.
So some people in the chat talking about how they're, like Poplar said, her hubby finally realized how big it was after she logged into eBay on his phone and all the cha-chings were going off all day. So, I mean, seems to be a pretty relevant topic.
and Gwen's telling Heather not to roast you too bad.
You know what? Okay, we can do it.
Well, Heather, my first question for you, while everybody says hi to you, is how do you feel about being married to a reseller? Like from the beginning, because I don't know when he started, if he was already reselling before you met him, type of thing. Maybe get that little info.
So, Duane has many hobbies and interests, and he has to do everything to his level of perfection or a job well done. And reselling, one of the main reasons I like it is this is his first hobby that makes money. So, but what has it been, 5 years?
2012.
Yeah. And I don't know if Duane's ever told you, but well, he started with scrap, and then he decided to break into more of the reselling. And when he started, it was when we were at one of the lowest points in I don't want to say our lives, but financially, and because we had lost or sold everything. Duane had lost his job, and so he started reselling. So that really saved us, and because he had been unemployed for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how we paid the bills, and then we've just kept it going. So no, it's been a real lifesaver many times.
Absolutely. Well, we already have a question that came in before we even started. Know if Heather has ever sold anything on eBay.
And I'm trying to think. Now, there's been times when there's things I've picked out, and then Duane tells me it sells, and I'm all excited. But as far as something I have found and took pictures of and then sold, I have sold a purse on Etsy. Excited about, because I remember the purses from when I was a kid, and I would have kept it, except for I have mine from when I was a kid. So I decided to pass it on to somebody else, and it in fact sold while we were moving, because we had told on eBay, we put things on hold, but we forgot Etsy. But luckily we found it and got it in the mail. And so I'm hoping that the lady who bought it was excited to find it. So that has been my only one thing I've done by myself.
Would you do reselling again if you you told us me beforehand that you like to craft? Have you thought about actually selling it instead of holding on to it?
I do have more things. Duane and I work as a team often, because he remembers brands, and not only does he remember the brand, but he can tell you what it's most likely made out of and where it was made. But I'm the one who has an eye for flaws, stains, holes, missing buttons. So I'm quality control. And I do the folding. And when I took over folding, he's not allowed to fold because I fold way better than he does.
Yeah.
And you know, if it needs to be laundered or what have you, but the more experience we've had, the less that we have to clean, you know, wash things, try and get stains out, because we're better at seeing it. But other than that, I have pretty good eye for seeing things that I remember as a child. And so that would be more Etsy based. And so action that I need to get going on. And then another thing, I think a lot of it's from living in Utah. A lot of people still sew, knit, crochet here. And so you can find blankets at the secondhand stores. And so I'm going to start selling those. And because
crocheted Afghans is.
Yeah. And because when we've been out of town, I haven't seen them at secondhand stores, but you can find them here in Utah all over the place and buy them for like $5.
Some of the granny square ones and lots of different ones. And so she's learning quite a bit about, you know, the different types of handmade blankets. She's even got a chair ready to, you know, a special chair that she's going to drape it over to do all the photographing and stuff like that. So
and I know a little bit about yarn because I worked at a craft store. And so that helps with knowing, you know, because a lot of your price range is going to be based on, you know, if it's acrylic, cotton, wool kind of yarn. So.
And we had another question from Tanya, Thrifty Treasures, but she made a mistake. She meant to say Etsy in that question.
Correct.
So she said, Heather could sell her crafts on Etsy. You did say crafts, right?
And I don't know. I have been tested. I usually, when I do crafts, it's usually for decorating around the house. I know from working at the craft store, I know just a little bit about several things. And so you know, maybe one day I'll be so proud of something that I feel like it's sell worthy, but then I'll just want to keep it.
Well, and a lot of the things she makes is more, I think it's more therapeutic for her to just creative outlet. The finished product, when she finishes them, which she starts a lot and doesn't finish a lot, which I think most crafters do. But I think it's more just to help her mindset. So the finished product is usually for the house, or it may just be to set on a shelf, you know. So
yeah.
Let's see.
Like I say, we have
Silver
our
Hair
first
Stacker
funny
wants to know if oh, sorry.
I can say we have our first funny question of the night. Now you read it off.
So Silver Hair Stacker asks if I snore.
Actually, after my nagging him for a long time, he's finally got set up with the CPAP machine. So before he got started with the CPAP machine, if he wasn't snoring, I would have to check and make sure that he was okay. And it has been an adjustment to not be lulled to sleep with the snoring. It's bad.
You know, fat guys, we snore. Mr. Sadie says, do you feel like Duane spends too much time reselling? I know my wife gets frustrated with me always being in the garage.
Well, when Duane and I will set goals, and then we do it together. And so, like, we'll put on our old 80s music that, you know, our kids just think is awful.
Really loud.
And yes, and we inventory together, and then I'll be folding and he'll list, and so we do a lot of that together. But Duane is caveman time. Is that what it is? They're man cave time. You know, making money while he's in his man cave. That's fine. I am perfectly fine with that.
Yep. Tanya says, my hubby gets frustrated with me always being in my eBay room. Guilty. But
see, since we just moved, this is so exciting for me. I have a craft room. I've had my craft corner, or as my youngest son calls it, the corner where crafts go to die. But so for the first time since son, I have my very own room to do my own stuff. I did promise Duane I'd still sleep in our bedroom, but so Duane has his space, I have my space, and it's just been part of, you know, the kids getting older and us buying a house with a little more room. So
although with the new house, I've noticed that we don't spend as much time together, because right now downstairs is basically set up for the business, and upstairs is obviously our living space. She's in her craft room, and I'm downstairs in the basement. Whereas where we used to live, the bedroom was like one door away, so our business was much closer, so we could actually talk. So right now, I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, and make it, you know, so we spend time together again.
well, also part of it was we were going to have both his office and my room upstairs, but our daughter decided to move with us, so she's in the room that Duane would have been in. But another thing we have is I like to be about 20 degrees warmer than Duane does.
Right. She's not happy if it's not 80 degrees in the house, and I'm
yeah.
good at like 70, you know, or below. So
Duane feels just right in the basement, and I like to be nice and toasty on the ground floor.
So let's see. Nellie Treasure Box Shop said, we have computers at each end of the living room so we can be online in the same room. I know it sounds silly, but nowadays that's considered spending time together. I mean, if you guys are in the same room, that's, you know, that's it's just the way it is.
Oh, Andy made a comment saying what his wife tried to get a craft room in the basement next to his office area. He keeps cutting her off. Andy, if you want her to help in the business, suggestion: give her the craft room. Then when she wants to do crafts, she might come down and help you with what you need.
There you go.
Yep. And another time that Duane and I spend time together is that when we do most of the picking together, and because he'll grab the shirts and then I'll inspect them, and so we can do teamwork with that. And then busy digging through the shirts, then I'll wander off to go look at things that I'm interested in. So, and as we're driving around the valley, then, you know, we spend time in the car together. And so, and it works really well. By the time we'd been married 2.5 years, we had 3 kids. So spending time together really is a new thing for us in general.
Absolutely.
Because my oldest son was 3 when we met. So we have spent a total of like 6 weeks alone together in 21 years.
Yeah, with no kids, no distractions.
Yeah. So we're used.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we're used to plenty going on.
Well, before we get to Barb's question about the crafts, you already kind of answered my second one with if you help in the business, but you already answered that with the folding and being quality control. Do you have any tips for, like I just gave to Andy, do you have any tips that might help someone trying to get their spouse to help in the business? Or because Duane might have showed you how he was making the money, or you, as you said, he was actually making the money, so that got you interested in it. Did he have to show it to you first, or did you believe him?
You know, Duane has to be busy all the time. He's always been that way. If Duane isn't busy, if he's not learning something new, if he doesn't have a challenge, he drives me crazy. And so really, like I said, he's got a lot of interests, but with this one making money, it's kind of taken the front seat over the other interests. And And so then as I was watching it, watching him do stuff, then I just have learned more and more. In fact, Duane has pointed out to me that I've learned way more than I realized just from being around him, talking to Duane about it.
And just being in the same room when we're doing some hangouts or listening to videos, because we were in her craft. We had a big room, and half of it was her craft room and half was the business. So we would listen to, different YouTubers, and just having it on in the background, she would, hear things and learn things. And she didn't realize just by osmosis that she was becoming a reseller at heart. Hey, there's Henry.
Yeah.
He finally showed up.
Well, Barb wants to know, going on Grumpy, what kind of crafts were you talking about before?
Well, I've always said I have an art level appreciation, but a craft level abilities. Let's see, what's been the last thing? Anything from working on doll houses, not dollhouse kits, but creating my own, repurposing used things that I find for Barbie size, because I dug Barbie out of my cedar chest from when I was a kid, and Duane actually bought me a Barbie to replace one that I had told him about. And so then I just started painting, sewing, painting, just refurbishing doll furniture. And so that's lately. And then I was working on fairy houses, finding ugly old bird houses painted in color schemes of the 80s and 90s and sanding them down and putting acrylic paint on my own little decorations. Nothing big, just my own entertainment.
Yeah, Tanya, we have a cat that's unhappy that we're both, not paying attention to her.
Which one is it?
Jim.
Oh, it's because our daughter hasn't been home all weekend, so she must torture everyone else. Yeah.
Okay, Sharking Mom Deals. Well,
there you go.
She wants to know, since are you willing to do videos, maybe the haul videos? Because Duane's trying to get into doing natural videos from his own channel. Would you join him in doing videos?
I probably would end up in what I told him to call it Back to Square One has been my idea for the name of it. And since I do help him out with things, Duane has a very efficient inventory system, and it takes two people to get through it quickly. And so, and he's very detailed in his inventory, because the worst thing ever, which I think everyone has experienced, even us, is selling something and then you can't find it. And then you end up re-inventorying everything.
Now that's what we did is
a
couple of times where we thought we had it or we couldn't find it. So at that point we're like, okay, that means our inventory system is messed up. Let's redo it. And
so when we re-inventoried, we actually got rid of stuff that was no longer up to our standard anymore. Or we've been upgrading, like, doing better pictures. We bought a steamer. We just keep up our game. So yeah, I have folded over 500 shirts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's she's getting good at it. We bought her one of those little flip folders, and she wore the first one out. And then we bought another one, and it was not as good, so we ended up having to buy again a third one, and so this one's good again. But it really, really helps. Just that little piece of flip plastic, it's amazing. And
I have my table that stands a little bit taller, because probably the greatest challenge with folding is getting your back worn out.
For sure. Yeah, between us, we've kind of worked out a pretty decent system to be as efficient as possible and as comfortable as possible. You know, it's just it's all about working the business and making it better so that it's easier. You know, so you don't have to work so hard to get the same thing accomplished.
I think Duane and I tend to be a lot that way in life too. So we just learned how to extend it to the business.
Sure.
Well, my next question would be is if Duane was to give up his other job, would you support him wanting to go try going full time, real time, even though you just bought the house? I was gonna ask this question if it didn't move, but
so we did do it full time, as I mentioned, for a while, and then put my biggest thing right now. All three of our kids are on Duane's health insurance plan as well as myself, and so I've told him that if something ever happens and he's not working for the company that he's with now, we'd go full time with it. But really, as long as our kids are needing health insurance, I want him to stick with that. It's just, I want to make sure the bills get paid and the kids get fed every day. So, because I know a lot of money can be made with it, but when there's the full-time job, then, you know, there's just that security in place.
Absolutely.
nice.
Let's see where we out of here. Mr. Sadie says, "Are you ever surprised at some of the things that Duane brings home sells? My wife always says no one will buy that, and then it sells."
I'm trying to think of.
I don't know, some of the ugly shirts I brought.
Yeah,
home.
yeah, we know that big ugly shirts are awesome sellers. Of course, you know, stuff that's considered retro sells. I don't think I ever have seen him bring home anything yet. That sometimes we'll find items that will, you know, kind of take a guess at what it's should sell at or what it will end up selling at. But no, we need to get more creative with our picking and see if we can find some crazy stuff.
This is true.
You answered this question before, but Violet 11 just showed up. Wants to know if you source things too.
So, yep, I do have a little collection of purses and Afghans that I need to get on Etsy.
And then most of the other things that she sources are usually, like she said, for her crafting. She likes to repurpose things in her crafts to make, you know, first of all, make it less expensive, and second of all, just, you know, the added challenge of repurposing. So she does a lot of that. There's been several times that we'll go to a thrift store and I'll spend $3 and she'll spend $15. And it's, you know, on her stuff, and there's only a couple of dollars that were spent on business stuff. So there's a lot out there for sure.
PGH Pick says his wife picks with him, but he does everything else. Now the daughter wants to pick with them to make extra money. I know I will end up doing all her stuff also. I should charge them.
It's like having a pet, right? You know, if your daughter or your son gets a pet, all that means is that you're going to have to take care of that pet.
Yeah.
So.
Maggie Doodle said her husband was shocked an ugly pant suit that she bought and that sold for over $400.
Wow. Yeah, we have found, I have an eye for double knit polyester as we're walking through secondhand stores, and so we'll stop and see if it's something worth selling. And sometimes I just have to take pictures of ugly things because it's just too good to not remember.
Yeah, what was that? We found that one Harvest Gold one-piece pantsuit.
Yeah.
With bell-bottomed leg flares, and it was horrible.
We found some stuff that Savers actually ended up putting it in the back room, so they were going to hang on to it till Halloween because it looked like it was wear.
Yep.
It was bad.
It was crazy.
And that's another thing. Like I said, a lot of people in Utah. Sometimes I always find it funny when we find homespun goods, I call them, that end up at the secondhand stores, and it's always fun to find the strange treasures. But we've yet to find anything too crazy to sell. I'm going to make that a goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't sell anything within reason. I mean, nothing obviously too grotesque or something like that. But
I'll go through the stuffed animals too when we go.
Yep, she does. She does look for plush as well. So
yeah. Have we sold any plush?
A little bit. Sometimes. Yeah. We're not big on the plush things.
Okay, we talked about this earlier, and I told Duane I was going to bust on him a little bit. You told me that he's pretty smart. You want to tell everybody else what he tested at?
No, we're not talking about this.
Yes,
we're fine.
I'll start with time that I was around him that I realized, wow, his intelligence level is much greater than his social skills. So these social skills are due to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He had very low social skills when we met.
Yeah, she brought me out into the open. So anything, any kind of social activity, she's the main for it.
But so it was the third time I was around him, I noticed that he was really smart. And Duane is never one to brag about himself, but he does test at over 150 IQ. So he's well into the genius level.
Thank you, but no thank you.
You're welcome, Duane.
Yeah.
Never, ever play Trivial Pursuit with him unless you want to be embarrassed.
Oh, baloney. See, that's the other thing. She tells everybody that thing.
It's true.
So nobody will play games with me, even my kids.
Don't play card games, board games, anything with him. He wins.
Not always. Angie says hi, dear.
Hello, Angie.
So, anyway, back to reality. What other questions you got? And any more questions?
I think one more, since we kind of touched on the other one. Well, there are times that Duane does tell me that he's not in a listing mood or anything like that. Do you have any tips on getting a reseller back on track?
It's usually when I come to him with a list of household items that we need. And because we haven't had credit cards for years now, and so we will keep a list running of things we need, and when the list starts getting long, it's like, okay, we got to get selling, and so that we have money to take care of things. And because his day job covers cost of living, but the extra stuff is what the reselling goes to.
Okay, we have two questions that are kind of tied. So one's from Silver Hair Stacker, the other one's from Violet Lemon. Silver Hair asks, Duane most intelligent move was marrying you, right? And then Violet Lemon asks, how long have you guys been married?
So we just had our 19-year anniversary at the end of January. And at the end of next month, we'll have been together 21 years. Met 21 years ago. Well, how long? We knew each other a couple months before we decided that we were going to be serious.
Margaret says hi too.
Hello, Margaret.
You would have a follower on Duane's channel doing shows. I can tell by everybody saying hi to you already. They already know who you are.
Well, we met Margaret and Tanya when we went to the green room hang out a couple years ago. So there's actually a couple people we've met in person.
Yeah.
So that's why she's, you know, people here.
Krillin wants to ask
Dylan
you,
wants to know if you can ask a question about Super Chat. That's all you, buddy. You answer that one.
yes, he can ask.
She says she knows that when we met was at a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And she wasn't the stripper.
And we don't want that version. You know, even better, first time he called me, I wasn't home and he left a message and he was drunk. And it was a really obnoxious message. And because he was with in-law and I worked with his sister-in-law. And even though he was drunk when she told him the phone number, he memorized it from that point on.
I do have a thing for I was not the spur, Margaret. I was at the bachelor party. It wasn't my bachelor party. It was my brother's. What was I going to say?
It.
Yeah, they crashed it later. And then one of the things that I don't tell a lot of people, but I actually asked her to marry me.
Second time.
The second time I ever saw her.
Yeah.
But it was just in jest because we were at my brother's house after their wedding, and they were going through all their gifts, you know, you get at your wedding. And I was like, man, they're getting all kinds of stuff. Hey, let's get married. And then, you know, 3 or 4 years later, we did. Or, well, it wasn't that long. I guess 2 years later. So it was kind of...
it was 18 months later.
Yeah, that's 2 years. So it was kind of a strange... yes. Let's see, what else we got?
Krillin's asking, said, okay, when I you sent me a super chat last week, I clicked on the $sign and my PayPal came up. Now when I click on it, it asks me for a credit card number. I don't think anything changed. I think you have to put in the credit card number for the PayPal unless your card expired or something. That's the only thing I can think of because I had to change mine when I did it one time at a test on Golden Finger Pickers channel one time. They asked my credit card then too.
Yeah, I've never done it, so I guess I should, huh? I should give back a little bit more. Randy and I were engaged in a month and married in 6 months. Wow, see, now that's crazy. I don't know. I guess I just haven't ever made my decision about something that big that quickly. But obviously it's working for you, right? I mean, you've been married for a while.
No, in fact, I scared Duane.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'd been together for 3 months, and my son was 3.5. And so I told Duane that I wanted to get remarried and have more kids because it's I was 23, he was 25, and you know that's for Utah, that's not young. And I didn't want to long because of my oldest son, and so it really scared Duane, and he had to think about it for a little bit. And
it on me, you know, I'm sitting there, and she says, "Okay, I want to start getting married and making more of a family." And you know, and I'm just out of the Marines for like 4 or 5 months now, and yeah, it caught me off guard. So I hurt her feelings pretty bad that day, not on purpose. But I made up for it, so.
I just wanted to be upfront and direct because you can't hint around with Duane.
No, I'm pretty,
yeah,
I don't get subtlety very well.
You have to clunk him over the head with a club. If you're not just direct, he just misses it.
I'm just simple, that's all. I'm just, you know, if you want something, ask me. Don't beat around the bush because I probably won't get the hint. So, let's see. Silver Stacker asked, do you ever look at any of Duane's things and think we could make money reselling that?
It is funny how all of a sudden, any item you come upon, you see $signs. It really changes perspective. of life when you start thinking about selling and everything. And another thing I found, since we sell a lot of men's shirts, sometimes I'll be in public and I'll start looking at a man's shirt and just kind of be like leaning in, not wanting to say anything, but wondering what brand it is, thinking, hey, I bet that'd be a good resale shirt. And my daughter has told me that it's creepy. I don't mean to do it. I'm just looking around me, keeping track of what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. I've noticed myself doing it too, but for her to do it, looking at a guy, it's okay because she's just kind of checking him out. Is what he thinks. But when I do it, it's like, whoa, that's kind of creepy. So.
I did think it was really funny when Duane said he was going to start selling high-end men's shirts, because Duane, he's not even jeans and t-shirts. He's denim shorts and t-shirts kind of person. But he can tell you all kinds of things about high-end men's clothes.
Well, see, and the crazy card said Duane is better groomed and wearing a better shirt. You have something to do with that, huh?
And well, hey, see, I put on my nicest hoodie. I had it on already, and I thought about changing my shirt, and then I'm like, I don't know. So I got this actually for $3 from the DI. So
the DI is a local thrift store, Deseret Industries, church-run local thrift store in Utah, Idaho area. So, speaking of that, I'm leaving for Idaho tomorrow. So I know I've said a couple. I heard from, so anybody in the Idaho Falls area, I will be most of the entire week. So if anybody wants to hook up and have coffee or go thrifting or whatever, we'll do that. Let me know. Angie, I'm about 80% better. I have a huge bruise that goes from about the center of my belly all the way wraps around to my hip bone. It's about that wide across my entire abdomen, which with me being this big belly, it's a pretty long abdomen. They're thinking that I may have broken a rib when I was coughing and nicked something. And because it's all draining into, the internal bleeding is draining into somewhere where it doesn't hurt. So.
And it was recommended that he goes to the emergency room. So instead we went grocery shopping.
Right, because the emergency room, they're going to take a CT scan, and then I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life. Margaret, I had pneumonia. Anyone that knows or has had pneumonia knows that coughing that violently for that long is really hard on your body. So yeah, it put me out of commission for a good week, where I could really get out of bed kind of idea. So
Duane doesn't get sick real often, but when he does, he makes sure he does a good job of it.
Right. See, I don't half-ass anything, even getting sick. Yeah. So.
My last question I have. So, any viewers have any other questions for Heather? Please get them in.
Yeah, come on, guys. You need to ask more questions.
My last question is: would you become a full-time reseller yourself if Duane needed the help? So, say while he's at work, when there's not housework to do, because we all know housework is work too. Would you go down to his office and start trying to do some of it, at least doing drafts for him and giving him some help?
Again, sometimes I'll fold shirts. I've threatened to. I get distracted easily. So I've thought about it. We have plenty of stuff to sell. Part of it would be I need to build up my confidence in taking pictures. And then I've always told Duane that his computer is an extension of himself. And for me, my kids have to program my cell phone for me. So that end of things is really Duane.
Yeah, she's the the artsy, non-technical version.
Oh, I will tell you the thing that we argue over the most in reselling is colors.
Yes. Is salmon, and she'll say, no, it's coral.
He's colorblind.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I've only had one complaint on my colors. It's really, really dark black, or I mean dark blue, and it looked black to me. Okay, so Margaret's asking all the questions that everybody wants to know. So if Duane could sing you a song to make your day, what would it be?
Singing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Singing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I gotta cut and paste here. Perfect way for me to make you feel special.
I'm sure many people are familiar with that there's the different ways in which people express and receive love that makes sense to them. Like there's what was there? There's telling someone you love them, there's spending time with them. With spending time with them, doing things for them, buying them things. And Duane tells me that he has to do all three for me. That's
Yeah, she's not content with just one. It's I gotta spoil her basically.
But no, he knows if he ever is to buy me flowers, don't buy roses because they're too expensive. Don't buy me jewelry. I don't wear jewelry.
Yay! This is a win right there.
Okay, as far as doing sweet little things, he, like I said, he bought me Barbie that I had, that he replaced from my childhood, and then he also bought me another doll that I had as a kid that I lost, and he surprised me with it. So, if he does sweet little things that are sentimental and not expensive, because I don't like it when he spends a lot of money, things.
You know what she really wants me to do? She wants me to wash the dishes. That right there, that's all the brownie points I need right there.
No, actually, I drive my car, and if I have to, I'll put gas in it. Anything else is up to him.
Yep, that's my domain. Yep. So
yeah, I don't even remember to get the oil changed.
Right. Yeah.
Into AutoZone, and the guys that work there are just like, what do you need? Let's hurry, get you hooked up, get you out of here, because you're scaring the other customers from being so lost and confused.
Okay, let's see. What are...
I'm a Virgo.
And I am a Capricorn. So there you go, Margaret. I should tell you all kinds of things. And then she also wants to know if I'm ticklish.
Never, ever, ever, ever touch Duane's feet.
Right.
Ever.
Right. I kick like a mule.
Besides that, not ticklish. No.
Let's see. Is one of the best things he could get you for your crafting?
He did. He got me a really expensive set of markers.
Oh, she loves to color too.
Yeah, coloring is my therapy.
She was up on board the therapy coloring way before it was popular.
Yes, so. I've always loved to color. That was color and paint, and our kitchen table always has had glue and paint and glitter because I always was doing projects with our kids when they were little. Mm-hmm. And so...
Yeah, we've never had a nice dining room table. It's always got paint smudges and glue.
But now that I have my craft room, then that can have all of the fun stuff.
Exactly. So, as you can see, when you have kids, you live your life one way, and as they start leaving a little bit, you can have nicer things, and they don't get destroyed as much. And you realize that the time you spend together, you can. So, Margaret wants to know, Heather, if you could go anywhere in time history, where would you go?
Let's see. For my oldest son, little story was he had to do an oral report on how his family came to Utah. And both his father and I are from Pioneer heritage. So our family's been in Utah since late 1800s. But my grandma, who's been gone, what has it been, 5.5 years now. She had stories about coming over from Scotland. She wanted to go to Scotland, and then being from Pioneer heritage, and kind of Utah history, church history, and family history are one and the same for me. So I wouldn't want to be a pioneer per se, but I have often wondered through my life the struggles of what my ancestors went through to get to Utah. I think that I wouldn't do it. No.
She wouldn't make it.
No. But I would say that is something I have given a lot of thought to in my life, because I've always heard stories.
So Margaret asked if we've ever been to St. George. Not together, but I've been there a lot of times.
My sister's there right now.
Yeah, so she has a sister that lives down there.
Niece.
Or yeah, niece actually.
I'm the youngest in my family, so I have adult nieces and nephew on my side of the family.
Right.
But yeah, St. George, there's a lot of people down there.
Yeah, it's kind of like the West Coast Florida, you know, that's where everybody from Salt Lake that wants to retire and get to where it's warmer goes down there. So,
and a lot of people like spring break and family vacations and stuff go down that way.
Margaret wants to know if you come from a Mormon family.
So yes, I do. Both sides of the family, and something that is not unusual at all for me is to get talking with someone and find out that we have the same great-grandfather, but from a different wife.
Right.
Polygamists to a lot of Utah. And in fact, my dad's family was one of the founding families of a town down in central Utah.
You may know, Margaret, it's called Tropic. It's by Capitol Reef. So, in fact,
Bryce Canyon.
Yeah, that's what I meant. In fact, we're related.
Indirectly.
Indirectly, we're related by marriages, but
yeah, and my parents were too, because Utah is just one big town.
Right, exactly. It's all interbreeding. So, let's see. What's the funniest thing about me?
You know, I'm the funny one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Duane's the stable one, and I'm the funny one.
Right, she's the girl that has the 14-year-old boy mentality. She's crude and she's almost as crude as my kids.
I am much cruder than Duane.
Oh yeah.
I have much more obnoxious sense of humor. Duane's much drier than I am.
Yep. I have to be to keep it balanced. Otherwise, we'd really be in trouble.
Yep. I tell Duane that I'm with him for stability and he's with me for entertainment.
Which one was that?
About
So Heather Stacker wants to know if so Heather, when my wife retires from teaching, should I push her into reselling with me?
You know, really. So okay, here's something that people who come into our lives have no idea. Separated twice. At 5 years and then at 10 years, we separated. Mm-hmm. And we said that if we separated at 15 years, we were going to call it quits. And it took us clear to year 14 to learn how to get along. And that shows you how stubborn we both are.
Pretty much.
But really, the reselling and us finding something to do together. Because like he likes to fish. I have no idea why someone would fish. He likes to camp. No, I have to sleep in my bed. And so it was something that actually brought us together, something we talk about together quite a bit. And so really done more for us than just bring more money. It's it's time together. It's going on adventures, picking together, arguing over colors.
Right. And then we argue about things like that instead of, important things. So we get our frustrations out at like that. So to answer your question, Todd, if your wife's into it, I mean, if she's...
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't answer. Yes.
Well, you kind of did. You just kind of, it's up to, obviously it's going to be, it's just purely opinion, but, I mean, it, like she said, it's brought us together quite a bit, and it may do that for you. And it may, I mean, she may get tired of you. I mean, I've talked to you.
Now,
so
I did see a question that it asked, what's the funniest thing about Duane?
Right. You said you're the funny one.
I thought of something.
Okay, come on, guys. This could be bad.
Duane has one thing he's vain over, and that's his hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, us gingers, that's important stuff. Right, Tanya?
And since,
right, Margaret?
So since Duane is not a vain person, if I tell him that he has a gray hair, he kind of freaks out. He will tell you that his hair is not red, it's strawberry blonde, and it has blonde and strawberry and gold in it.
Yeah.
And the first time he told me that, I just started laughing because I had no idea how much pride he had in his hair, and he has a ton of hair.
Oh.
Got a question here from Alana. She wanted to know, what goals do you have together for your retail biz?
What goals do we have together?
Yes.
Probably we have quite a bit of stuff waiting to get put online. I would say that kind of a overall goal is to get caught up with listing right now.
Right, that's our short-term goal. Long-term, well, what we'd really like to do is move to the country at some point and get away from everybody. I don't know if that's going to actually happen, because after this move, I may never move again because it damn near killed us.
Yes.
So, but just I think, kind of a consensus between us is just to, work on our relationship and, enjoy life as much as we can.
And my car is 20 years old.
Oh yeah, she wants a new car. See,
it doesn't have to be brand new, just a new to me car. Something that is younger than 20. And it does not have a dented in back end.
Yeah, we need to work on getting her a new car. So that's another short-term goal.
I have found that when we set goals, that we are more focused at getting stuff done.
Yeah. Krillin, country, it's the country. So she would like to move to Scotland at some point, or Ireland, but I
have to go visit first.
I'm pretty much going to stay in the United States. I would just rather move out, have some acreage. Can't see which country we already live in, Utah. So yeah, I know we are a different country here, but more out in, get some land and just kind of move out there, garden, and try and be a little more independent.
I would like to get out of the snow. I hate being cold.
Yeah, she, as we talked before, she doesn't like being cold. So wintertime is basic, what is it? The SAD, what does that stand for? Situational. But it's when you're in the winter,
and,
you're depressed.
And I lived in Northern California as a kid, so I'm seeing about the earthquake zone. Actually been through some earthquakes.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to go back to it.
Yeah, and I, growing up in Utah, we had a couple when I was a kid, and I wasn't traumatized like she was. It was just something kind of cool for us, shake the world shakes and things fall off your mantle. So affective disorder, situational affective disorder.
Yeah.
Angie's, or seasonal. Yeah. Angie, I think you suffer from that too. I think we had talked about that. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
There's no earthquakes in Texas, but there's tornadoes, which is worse. I don't know.
Utah's have last 30 years, and they probably wouldn't be considered tornadoes according to other people's
right.
standards.
They were little dinky things. So.
Yes. Yeah. And
Tanya, or not Tanya, but Margaret, as if you had to live in a different state, which would it be?
that's part of why we're still in Utah.
Right. We've tried to move away. When I was unemployed, I applied to everywhere, jobs everywhere but Utah, trying to get away from Utah, and I ended up getting 2 job offers in Utah, nowhere else. So, I like the South. I lived in Georgia for a year and I really liked it. So I would deal, and I love Southern food. So, I would like to go to the South. She doesn't like the humidity, so we would have to move up a little bit. So we at one time we were looking at possibly moving to Kentucky area, Southern Indiana, Kentucky. But
I have a sister in Indiana.
But as you know, that didn't pan out. So we're here again in Utah, just a little more south than we were before.
And with the kids getting older, and like our oldest son has a house, what was he, like 40 minutes away?
Yeah.
So the thoughts of leaving the state and not taking our kids, it's going to make it harder and harder. But right. Utah will always be home base.
Probably, yeah. My whole family lives here.
Most of mine.
Yep, most of hers. So it's kind of going to be home base.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, we're great.
Somebody asked, if Freaky Friday happened and you switched roles, what would be the first thing that you would do?
Well, pee standing up, of course.
Wow. See what I mean? See what I mean? This is what I have to deal with, guys, right?
Yeah, that's all I got at the moment. Wow. Yeah, something serious. I just tell people that Duane's a hitman because I can't explain what he does for his job. So I would not go to his work. I would take the day off.
So let's see. Any other questions? I mean, you got open range here, guys.
I'm not seeing it yet, but Margaret made a comment. I didn't even know she was kidding. When he said Kentucky. Let's see what it is. Kentucky? Well, you are used to marrying relatives.
Right. Yeah.
That's
See,
funny.
very good.
Very funny.
Oh boy. No, Margaret, I don't have a nickname.
Dewey. I never call him that, but
that was like when I was in junior high. And there was only one guy that ever called me that. So
and his dad used to have red hair. And so it's gray now, but and his dad goes by Red, and so I do believe when Duane was a kid, Little Red.
Yeah, for a little while.
But no
names that she can say here, in public.
Well, we're actually at the hour mark, so I don't know how much time Heather wanted to give to everybody.
Are you done, or you want to just whatever?
I don't know. Lil Red.
Yeah, thanks, Margaret.
You know, I would share deepest, darkest secrets, but Duane just doesn't have any. And he can't lie to save his life. So.
No, I'm not. I'm really sucky at it, so I just don't. Because then I get in trouble for lying and whatever I was lying about. So I get in trouble twice.
And let's see. The most annoying habit he has that bugs me.
See what you did?
See
what you did?
You know, I'm the one who will say things that drives him crazy, I think. One thing I will say, and Duane has mellowed a lot in the past 20 years, but he is still a redhead. Redheads do have tempers.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a hotter temper than I do.
Yeah, I can fly off the handle a little bit. Yeah. Occasionally, not very often.
No. It's
not like I used to.
Yeah.
Well, before we end the show, I wanted to address a couple of things, and plus thank Heather for being on. She was gonna fill in for Duane last week if I wanted her to, but I wanted to give her her own time for once first. But what I want to address is last Wednesday we asked for show ideas, and one was given about doing hauls. And so you guys can ask questions. The problem with that is Duane and I don't go out picking as often as everybody else that has YouTube videos that do hauls. So it's harder for us to have a show dedicated to a haul, even if we're getting stuff. So for you guys to ask questions, we don't know when we're going to get stuff. Like I bought the patterns on Friday. We already started doing the research and stuff like that. So for me to sit here and pull out all those patterns, it would mess up the work that we have already done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have such a backlog now since I just reopened my store a couple of days ago that I'm not going to need to do any hauls for quite some time. And we don't, because my store has been down for nearly a month, all that fluid income that we had from the store has not been there. So we've been really tight on our budget. So we have to get some sales in order to make some money so that we can thrift again. So. And
it'll still be a couple more months before people start doing yard sales here.
Right. Yeah. Because we know our yard sales are usually about probably May until September.
Yeah.
Is basically our garage sale season, because anything before and after is cold. So any other questions before you bail off? I mean, you have my wife here. You can ask anything.
Doesn't seem like, and I know certain people like other shows, TV shows, so they're not wanting to miss those shows.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just saying,
I know. And I'm not planning on doing any after show. So.
Yes, when I started my Etsy store, I put one thing in it this morning. I sold out of the other item I had in a while ago, but yet this morning or yesterday, I started my Etsy store again and put it in. It's called the Vintage Ship. So
what is mine called?
I don't remember. We'll have to find out what Heather's is. I can't remember what it's called.
And I didn't make an account, but I haven't made a seller's account yet. I'm still debating it. I had to make an account to go look at your item.
So, Chris, why don't you want to do it? Do you want to do an after show? I don't mind, and I'm sure Heather can sit around and talk for a minute. She likes to talk.
I wasn't thinking of doing one. I know Heather said she was cold down there. That's why she said.
She's got her lap blanket.
Yep. I always put the blanket on to come down to the basement. I have to wrap up in a blanket just to come do laundry.
Right. So.
Well, it seems like there's a couple of people that want to have a hang after show. So maybe I'll put the link in the chat, and if I leave.
Pissed off, Ship. What are you talking about, man? So.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions. So thanks again, Heather, for being on. Thanks, Duane, for asking her to be on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope
Oh, he wants to know, do I have a touch of the OCD?
Let's see. If he does, it's nothing that I notice, but Duane does do a job well done. He's much better at the dishes than I am.
Yeah. So everybody's thanking you.
Thank you for having me on.
Mrs. Hale. Miss Hale.
Miss Hale, yeah.
That's Glenn.
All right. Well, then, since it's a good follow-up for people wanting to do a hangout after show, we'll do an after show.
We twisted your arm into it, huh?
Yeah. All right.
Is this for the drinking games again?
Sometimes.
Thanks everybody for watching. I don't know what I'm gonna do for Wednesday. Duane may show up Wednesday night. He still hasn't decided if he's bringing his camera with him or not.
Yeah, I'll probably take it, but I'm not sure. I'll see what I can do.
So we will all see you on Wednesday night. And if Duane's not here, somebody's gonna be in the front. Have to come in and do a lot of talking with me. So we'll see you then.
See ya.